This conference will now
type
be
1
recorded.
hypervisors, these are all directly the bare metal. That means on the hardware resources itself, you can install some hypervisor softwares without having any additional OS. You don't need that the OS separately. Yeah, so directly you can take the physical the resources, and you can install the virtualization software, and you can create multiple virtual machines using that top 5 hypervisors which are available in the market. That means, so on the bare metal, we can install these hypervisors, VMware, vSphere, or Microsoft Windows Server, or Zen, or Red Hat, or KVM. These kind of softwares we can install it, and we can share the resources of hardware. But type 2, so you need to have the host OS. Yeah, that is Windows or Linux. So any one of the host OS that is required. Under the host OS, we can go ahead installing the virtualization softwares which are available. There are the type 2 hypervisors. So we are going to use it, the virtual box for active one. Yeah, so that's about the point. The type 1 and type 2 differentiating. Yes, until that we were discussing this concept, right? Is it clear about this points, or anyone having any queries, questions, please let me know. Or if it is clear, just type the clear. Just if anyone new members who have joined, yes, we can just trying to recollect the points. Yeah, good. Thank you. Ajay, Raghava, Aravind, good. Okay, now let's talk it the. Anyone would like to discuss this? Please welcome. So, any queries? Have explored that more concepts on this virtualization in the Google, or you just gone through that about our the concepts only? Anyone got the chance to refer it? The external? No. So only just referring this about our concepts. Okay, fine, good. So anyway, let's continue this to the next point. So now next, like what are the Linux we are going to understanding the concept point of or exercises point of view, we need to have the Linux system, right? So now we understand that types of the distributions and what are the different types of the virtualization approaches that we have to launch the virtual machines. But next concept is, next what we should know is, how do I launch the virtual machine on my Windows system? So before going to work with the Linux commands, we should know that concept. Yeah, let's talk it that. What is the solution that we have that to launch the virtual machine is? Yeah, so this is the DevOps solution. We are going to talk to that. We are not going to using like as a Linux administrators or the system administrators. So as a DevOps engineer, which we are going to learn it, we are going to look at the solution. Yeah, so which type of this virtualization type this is? So is it type 1 or type 2? The type 2 based approach. Yes, Windows or the Unix or the host OS should have it, and with a hardware resource. Good. Then on the Windows, we can install about our apps, right? So the Microsoft Office, if we need it, yes, we can install it like that. So we need to install the virtualization software. Yeah, how do we install the apps in our Windows? But like if you would like to launch the virtual machine or managing the multiple virtual machines, so you need to have it, or we need to install the virtualization software. What is the software that we are going to talk about here? It is Virtual Box. So who is the vendor of this one? The Virtual Box? That is Oracle team. So Oracle team, yes, we need to install this Virtual Box first. Then we can launch the virtual machines. Like Ubuntu machine if you need it, or CentOS machine if it is required. Yes, we can launch it. But once the virtual machine has been launched, how do we access this, or how do we connect it this? Suppose Windows system, how we are connecting? Windows system, how we are accessing this? Whenever we boot up the system directly, Windows will be launched, right? That means indirectly you are, so you are switching on is nothing but that is you are trying to access the system. And user interfaces are available, desktop or the same thing. Once the system has been launched, we need to have it on the Windows system SSH. client software. So that is, we have the putty or git bash or mobile system. So one of the SSH client has to be installed. So which is required to connect to this virtual machine. So three softwares we are trying to understand. So the overall on the Windows system, three softwares we are trying to understand it. One is VirtualBox, which is a hypervisor layer to manage the virtual machines. And another one is you need to have that ISO image file. So that is to launch the Ubuntu based system. Are you going for that? Or the Red Hat based system? Are you going for that? That is the image is required. That's the OS image. And another software which is required, that is SSH client as well. So what is this SSH client is to connect it to the launched virtual machine. Yeah. So there are the three softwares that is there. But is it enough? Yeah. So why do we need that? First of all, the Linux operating system. Why do we need to go for? Why do we need to learn this Linux? Anyone? Simply in the course it is
Freeware.
defined, and we need. Sorry.
Freeware highly secured.
Okay, there is a freeware and secure. Okay, good. Any other points? We have already Windows system. Then on the Windows we can practice it, right? Then why do you want again this Linux system? Yeah, so applications which will be launched with a secure manner and as well like in the high availability approaches and in the secured manner in the live environment, if you would like to launch this any application, we need to have it secured operating system. So Windows, if you just observe that, if you are trying to download any files or installing that or uploading that, we see this like a virus attacks, right? Virus attacks on the Windows. But on the Linux system, the virus attacks are very less compared with the Windows operating system. So it is high secure as simple as this. Why do we need to know this Linux system is, yes, in the live environment, all the applications are using a Linux based operating system. Yeah, so finally, so why do we need to go for this Ubuntu or CentOS is to host about our applications. Yes, so client whatever the Java application or Python application or the .NET mostly which we use it like Windows servers, but remaining like all other technologies that will be used Linux based operating systems. Yeah, the finally to host such applications, we need to have the OS. Okay, fine, good. But can we launch multiple virtual machines? Yeah, once this the virtual box has been installed, yes, if you need the CentOS and with its own application, yes, we can launch it. Or if you need that Ubuntu another, yes, we can launch it multiple virtual machines. But okay, we understand that these are three softwares required. One is VirtualBox, and on the base of the which OS operating system you are launching that OS related, the ISO image is required. So if you are using the Ubuntu image, or if you are using that the guest OS, the CentOS related image, and another software from on the Windows system, we need to have SSH client. Hmm. Yeah, so this is okay, good point. So why I'm using this Ubuntu or CentOS as an image? Image is kind of the template. That is the skeleton which is defined, and you can take the template and you can launch it multiple virtual machines. Suppose if I need that Ubuntu operating system, or suppose Windows operating system, you need to take the Windows uh, the OS by default, right? During the boot up, if you would like to launch it. So the same way, if you would like to install the Ubuntu OS or CentOS OS, I need to have that template, which is the binary file which will be downloaded as a binary file and which will be used to set up the operating system. Thus, you will get it more idea whenever we are talking this. But just understand the other time there is a template which is already defined. The packages, as we're talking about it, Ubuntu and Red Hat. So what is the difference between the Ubuntu and Red Hat? And the basis of the packages and applications point of view or utilities point of view, we can differentiate it. That's why we're talking about it. Android or iOS operating system. Yes, Android, like which is going to have its own Play Store mechanism to install the apps or the apps which are required for that. But if you go for iOS based, it is going to have its own the packages and the utilities or apps which you can set up. The same way, so this is kind of the template. So Ubuntu if you need it or CentOS if you need it, the template which we need to use it, and we need to go for the REST client based. So we can download it. So this is, this voice is not from us. This is from the provider who is providing. Yeah, are you clear about these points? So total 3 points. One is virtualization software, that's VirtualBox is required. Ubuntu, that is Ubuntu or CentOS, whatever you are going to use it, that template is required. We say that image. And third option is SSH client, which is going to helping to connect to the virtual machine. But is it enough? These things, or you have still any other solution from the DevOps? This is not a DevOps solution. This is before it was there. Before the DevOps, it was there. So this is a generic concept. This is not from today. This is almost from the 2000 onwards we have. But what is the DevOps solution that we have? Okay, if I try to understand the DevOps solution, one more software, install it on the Windows, that is Vagrant. So what about this Vagrant is? This is the virtualization automation software. We should not say this is a virtualization software. This is a virtualization automation software. So what is this automation software? So why do we need to use the Vagrant? Everyone, are you following that? The points? Is it clear to everyone? Good, good. Okay, good, yeah. Yeah, why do we need to have the Vagrant software? Yeah, suppose as we are understanding that the okay, virtual box, we can use it ISO image and SH client to launch the virtual machine. But manually doing that, so as a DevOps engineer, are you going to do the manual activities or automation activities?
Automation activities.
Automation approaches we need to define it. Even that launching this virtual machine also, we have the automation solutions. But what is the automation solution? Launching the virtual machine, or starting the virtual machine, or stopping the virtual machine, or terminating the virtual machine. So all these activities. So how do you do that is, so instead of doing the manually, we can go for this with the Vagrant. Vagrant is helping that to automate the managing that virtual machines on this virtualization software. Managing the virtual machines like Ubuntu or CentOS, whatever we are talking about, managing all these virtual machines on this virtual box. We are not going to do the manually, we are going to use it the Vagrant. Yes, Vagrant is the additional software going to talk about that. On the top of these three softwares, image is required, virtual box is required, SH client is required, and one more software what we are going to use is Vagrant. So the final overall, if you just conclude it, is what is the virtualization software we are going to use it is, that is VirtualBox. It is the virtualization software from Vagrant, which is a type 1 or type 2? Is a type 1 or type 2? Which one is that? Type 2 base. And it is free. So it is the free, runs on the Windows or the Mac or Linux. And if you have this like Mac OS also, about your host OS is the Mac, yes, you can install the virtual box and we can launch the virtual machines. Or if it is the Linux or the Windows, yes, we are going to use the host OS is Windows one. And runs as an application. It runs like on the Windows system as an application and allows us to use local virtual machines. It is going to helpful that to launch the virtual machines on the local system, and it is easy to install and works well with the Vagrant. Yeah, so where you can get it, the software is, let me just go ahead and Just yeah, how do you get it, or how do you download this virtual boxes? We can just type this in the Google. So download Oracle virtual box. But which way we are going to use it? The guest OS. So the language has been changed. Yeah, download Oracle VirtualBox, search it in the Google. Yes, you can go to that the virtual the official site. Okay, so this is the official site virtualbox.org and the downloads. You can just search it in the Google. So download VirtualBox and you can get into here. But what is the OS platform which you are using there? So which OS related the VirtualBox is required for us? Is it Windows or the Mac OS or is it Linux? Which one is that?
Linux.
Linux.
VirtualBox, the different story. But here the point is now whenever you are downloading the VirtualBox, which OS platform you need to download it?
Linux one. Linux one.
No. We need to download this VirtualBox and we need to install it. Host OS. Which host OS that is? That's what I'm talking about. That is Windows. Yes, here whenever you are downloading the file, that VirtualBox, suppose if I have the laptop Mac OS, then what is that like virtualization, the platform I need to look into that whenever I'm downloading the VirtualBox? Which ways we need to look into that? Mac OS related. So if the host OS is the Windows based file, we need to download it, or if the host OS is Linux based, or if the host OS is the Mac based, the binary files which we need to download it. But we are using the Windows. Let's go ahead to the Windows host, and here you see this like it is trying to download it. The VirtualBox 7.0.8 is the version, that is Windows.exe file. Okay, this is the one software. Total how many softwares are required? Total 3 softwares that is required. Okay, so first we are trying to download. So let's wait for that. It is downloading. Yeah, go to the downloads folder once it has been downloaded, and just click on this the .exe file. Yeah, now it is prompting for the setup. In my system already the box has been installed and that is ready. So yes, let me check it about it. Do you have any latest updates on that? So, but you are doing this installation, download the .exe file, just go ahead, next, and finish that. So that straightforward steps, no big deal. And this is the installation location. Yeah, so keep it that the default location, no issues. So net interface, that's fine. So click on yes. So missing dependencies, Python 4, okay, fine. And finally go ahead and install the virtual box. Yeah, this is the first software which you are trying to understand before launching the virtual machine. So clear about that? Can you type in the chart window? So is it clear? So first installing that virtual box. That's yeah, good. Thanks to everyone. Good, awesome. So let's continue. So virtual box is done, but what next? But how do we check that virtual box has been installed or not? Okay, still it is going on. So let's wait the completion of this. Then how do we verify that the virtual box is installed or not in your system? How do we check it? Okay, let's wait it. We'll see that. So this is the type 2 based virtualization software. Now we are installing that. So type 1 based, that's the bare metal based, that's not required for us. We just ignore it, that concept. But know the point, but yes. Type 2, which you're going to have. Now it is on the start to the virtual box. And yes, so let's select that option and go ahead with the finish. Yeah, so this is the Oracle VirtualBox Manager, the VM, the which you can manage it. Here already I'm having this like already 3 virtual machines I'm already having that. But whenever we launch it this first time, so it is everything the blank. But how do I launch the virtual machine? So now I'm going to use this virtual box manager to manage the virtual machines, right? That is starting, stopping, or launching the virtual machine. But how do we launch it is manually. If you just go ahead, yes, you need to use this add option or new virtual machine. Yeah, virtual machine name and operating system. So name of the virtual machine and in which folder that you want to create it. Yes, here you see that's one of the important input that is prompting for ISO image. ISO images are helping that which operating system that you want to launch it. Is it a Ubuntu based system? Do you need it, or do you need that the Linux based? Yeah. So which ISO image that you have? So you need to download it that ISO image. But how do we get it that ISO image? That will come back. That's the next point. But if you try to understand it, once this virtual box has been installed, so what is the main the input that's required is ISO image is required. So ISO image we are using is nothing but that is going to helpful to launch this virtual machine. Virtual machine. But for the timing, I don't have any ISO image, so just ignore it and type yes. Which type of the operating system are you launching? The Linux based, or is it Solaris based, or BSD? They're all the Fedora based, or IBM OS, Mac OS. Which type of operating system is that? Yeah, we are using that the type of distribution Linux. And a Linux, which Linux is that? Is it like Oracle Linux box? Oracle also having their own Linux and Red Hat as you are talking the RPM based, SUSE Linux, Ubuntu. So the image which you have taken that image which OS driver is that? That's what we need to select it here. Are you clear about that? These are all the basic inputs. But if you are doing this, all these, I mean, filling all these details is nothing but is manual approach, right? Yes or no? We are filling that each and every detail. And you are using interface. Interface you are using is nothing but this is a manual approach. But as a DevOps engineer, are you going to do the manual approach or automation approach? Automation approach. But how do I do that automation approaches here? Yes, automation approach point of view. Next, what is the one more tool we are going to install is Vagrant. So the Vagrant, we are going to use it, that is the automation software to manage the virtual machines on the virtual box. So what are the virtual machines? Yes. So the which you would like to launch it or start it, stop it, terminate it, any operation if you would like to perform it. We are not coming to here and we are not going to do that manually here. So I'm just going to close this window. We don't need to have it up and running this one. Up and running required, but just close it. But if you'd like to open it, yes, you can go to the search option. If you just search for this virtual box, yes. Whenever you need it, you can open this virtual box. But this is not required. We are not going to touch this one to manage the virtual machines, which are required for about our Linux operations to perform it. Yeah, just close this. But one time no. Is it clear about that? Virtual box installation and what are the inputs? Main input, what it is prompting is ISO image. Okay, good. But next, we are not going to do that ISO image downloading and uploading through manually. So what is the next software we are going to use? It is Vagrant. So let's go ahead, downloading and installing the Vagrant. Yeah, so this also you can search it in the Google. That is download Vagrant. Yeah, this is who is the vendor, the providing about this tool is, that is HashCorp team. The HashCorp team, they are providing that. Yes, install the Vagrant. Yes, again you are downloading that here on the basis of which flavor of the operating system you have. So now we are using that which OS? Host OS. Which host OS? Windows. Yes, Windows based which you can download it. So these are all the downloadable files. Or if you are using the Mac OS, you can just refer this Mac OS. View with that where you can install the Vagrant, but that is for the Mac OS. Or if you are using the Linux is the like about your host OS, then you can use this approach to download this Vagrant and use the Vagrant. But we are using about the Windows, yes. But within the Windows, if you just again, if you observe that we have AMD 64 and 686. So what is the difference between that 64 and 686? If about our Windows operating system is 64-bit operating system, so most of the operating systems these days are the 64, no issues. Until if you have this 32-bit octet. So 686 is for the 32-bit octet. If you have this 32-bit octet, you can use this download file. But we are using about it AMD64. You can download that AMD64 file. So second software which I am installing there is Vagrant now. Are you clear, everyone? Are you following these points online? Yeah, if you're good with that, type that. So this is launching the virtual machine. That is a concept which we are trying to understand that. Yeah, you need to set up the Linux virtual machine for about a practice point of view. So that virtual machine, how do we launch it? That is a topic we are discussing that. They joined it today, but yesterday if you have joined, then you would be following about that all the points. If I joined that today, then just know that this is a virtualization setup. The virtual machine we are setting that using the virtualization software. Everyone is clear about that? Just type that the Vagrant. If you are good with that, until the Vagrant, type that the Vagrant in the chart window. Good, good. Naveen, what about others? Kishore, good, fine, awesome. So be active in the chart window. That would be helpful. Yeah, so let's continue. Yes, I have downloaded and let me install the software. So download the software and try to start that MSA file. And we know that how do we install on the Windows system. So this is not the big deal. Let's just go ahead to the next options. But in my system already Vagrant has been set up that. Yeah, so next, and it is already set up this in my system. So if I'm having any problems, I can repair it, or I can remove it. But I don't want to do anything, so just cancel it. But in your context, first time if you're going to install it, go ahead with next options and install the Vagrant. So this is a straightforward step. Okay, so with this we have done the two steps. So what are the steps we are doing there? So what are the softwares we have installed? Yes, one is VirtualBox and second one is Vagrant. So what we are trying to do this is to launch VM. Yeah, to launch the virtual machine. So VirtualBox we have installed and Vagrant also we have installed. But what is the difference between the VirtualBox and Vagrant is VirtualBox is this is a hypervisor software or virtualization software. Virtualization software to manage the virtual machines, to launch the virtual machines. But Vagrant is this is automation software, launching the virtual machines or terminating the virtual machine or starting or stopping the virtual machines. We can automate it. This is automation software. Okay, there are the two software that we have done so far. What next? As we are trying to understand, ISO image is the main input, right? Another input is ISO image. But what about this ISO image, or where I can get that ISO images? Now, normally, if you are using this directly the virtual box to launch the virtual machine, you need to go to the Ubuntu provider or Red Hat provider to download that image file. But if you are using the Vagrant team, they are providing the ready-made ISO images. But where we can download it or where we can get it is, so let's browse it that one of the site that is vagranthub.com, or just to simply type that Vagrant box in the Google. You can type that Vagrant box, which is redirecting to that vagranthub.com site. So vagranthub.com site. Yeah, here you can find it, the ready-made ISO emails. You don't need to struggle with that 5 GB, 6 GB, 7 GB size of the files. So normally if you are trying to download direct ISO images, which are having that, so approximately the 5 GB size. But if you go for the Vagrant boxes, they're all like in small size than normal ISO images. But how do I get it thus ISO images? Yeah, suppose you need to, or you are planning to launch the Ubuntu based virtual machine. Ubuntu based, then just type that Ubuntu here. So then if you search it for it, yeah, Ubuntu, yes, again it is have the different versions. Yes, Ubuntu Trusty 64. This is the one the image which we can see, or another image like a Process 64. So you see that the versions Ubuntu 14.0 version and Ubuntu 12.04 version and Ubuntu 16.04 version. So we have this Ubuntu that flavor again the different versions. So which version that is required, which version of that ISO image that is required. So you can find that the particular the version and you can use it this virtual box or the Vagrant box which we can say that. Or suppose if you need the CentOS which a distribution type, which type of distribution this is? RPM based. Yes. And Ubuntu is Debian based. Yeah. So yeah, CentOS if you need it, yes, you can search it the CentOS that is for the Vagrant boxes in the section. And here you can find that again the CentOS is on the different versions, CentOS 7 or the CentOS 6.7, 7.2, or CentOS 6. So we have the different versions of CentOS. Now you see the latest version, CentOS 8 is also available. Yeah, which version of the OS that is required? OS identification, that is CentOS, and which version is required? Is it 7 version or 8 version or the 6 version? 6 version older one, so don't try to use it. So 7 or 8. Suppose I'm going to use it, this is generic CentOS 8. So I need to use it, this ISO image. I need to launch the CentOS 8 version. Then what I can do, so just click on that option on the image, then which is redirecting to that particular image section. But how do we use this box, or how do we download it, and how do we use it to launch the virtual machine is? So they have given that option. Either you can create a Vagrant file here. So this is a Vagrant file. If you know already the Vagrant file concept, you can copy this content and you can define in the Vagrant file. But we don't know the Vagrant file and all that, right? Yes or no? We just install the Vagrant software. That's all. We didn't do this, or we didn't talk at any other options. Yeah, the next command or next option, what we have this is, if you go to the new option here, so they have given the two commands. So they have given two commands. What is the command? First command is Vagrant init. Vagrant init and the box name. Here just suppose this is the ISO image name. So generic CentOS 8. So if you just use this command Vagrant init, now one of the Vagrant file we are talking that Vagrant file will be automatically created in the directory. So first command which you need to run it is, where do you need to run it? I'll come back. But how do we download it, or how do we use it at the Vagrant boxes? Whether you need that Ubuntu, whether you need that the CentOS. So the very flexible way they have given that. Easy. Just identify about your box and go to about your Windows, Vagrant init. And if you just specify the box name, then with this box name, it is going to create a Vagrant file. Automatically will be created. Next, if you would like to launch that virtual machine, so this is going to helping that to download the ISO image specification. But once the ISO image is available, we need to we need to create a virtual machine, right? How do you do that is by using the Vagrant up. If I run the Vagrant up command, that is going to helpful to launch the virtual machine. So these two commands, if you use it, yes, about your system is ready. So you don't need to struggle all the things. You just install the two softwares. What are the two softwares? Yeah, VirtualBox and Vagrant. These two softwares, install it, then go to the Vagrant upside, and which image that is required. Is it required the CentOS 7 you need it, or say Ubuntu you need it? Which one do you want to practice it? Yes. So that box the image identified, and the Vagrant init and the Vagrant up. So that is the beauty. But if you go for the manual approach, downloading the ISO image file and launching the system, that is a lot of process. But the process has been simplified with the Vagrant. Is it clear up to this? So type that in the chart window, Vagrant box. If you're good with us understanding that point, the Vagrant box concept, just to type that, the Vagrant box in the chart window. If everyone says that yes, 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 I cannot understand what you got it, but yes, be specific to the point. Yes, Vagrant box. Yes, I see. And Naveen, Ajay, Tejaswini, good. At least I would like to see the 5 members responding there. Then I will continue to the next ones. Then I can understand you are all are in active mode instead of that sleeping mode, right? Still, I would like to see the two more. Yeah, the Raghava, Pavani, good. Yeah, thanks. Yes, good. So now we got it. Yes, where we can find it, the Vagrant boxes, and where we can uh, identify this ISO image, and how do we get it that? So now, so this CentOS 8, I would like to launch that. So the virtual machine with the CentOS 8. What I need to do? We need to go for running these two commands. Vagrant init command and vagrant command. But where do I need to run? Where do I need to run it? We need to have that one terminal for it, right? Terminal or command prompt. Where do we run the commands? Command wherever you would like to run it, you need to have the command prompt. Command prompt. In the Linux terminology, we say that the terminal. In the Windows terminology, we say that command prompt. So we need to have the command prompt or terminal. So these two commands which we can run it to get it. The ISO image to launch into the virtual machine on the virtual box. Using Vagrant, we are doing this now. They're all the Vagrant boxes. ISO image or we can say Vagrant box. But before running these two commands, so I need to have it the terminal or command prompt. Okay, how do I use it? Or which terminal or which command prompt I need to use it? Anyway, we are talking as one more software that's required to install it, right? On the Windows. So what is the third software which we need to install it? SSH client we need to install it, which helps about it to connect to the when this virtual machine has been launched, you can connect it. So SSH client we need to install it. But what is the software that we can use it? So here are 2 points. I need to run these two commands or I need to execute SH commands. So what is the software that we are going to use it is for that activity? This is as a SH client software or we can use it this SH software as a terminal also to run the commands. So if you like to execute any command on the Windows, yes, we can use it this SH client software as a terminal. But what is the software we are going to install? That is Git Bash. So what is the third software we need to install on the Windows? That is the Git Bash. So let's find it the Git Bash and let's try to download the Git Bash. Yes, let's go back to the so download Git Bash. Yeah, so this is the official site from the Git team, that is gitscm.com. You can access this downloads gitscm. And here you can find that so this Git Bash 2.40.1. So you can download for Windows. Is it required for the Windows or the Mac OS or Linux? Which one? Windows. Yes, we are using the host OS Windows. These are all the host OS related softwares. Yeah, host OS is the Windows and the host OS base we are doing or we are downloading all the software. Suppose if you have the Mac OS, you need to download the Mac OS related all the software if you are using the Mac OS. Or if you are using a Linux based operating system, then you need to find it all the software Linux based downloads option. So anyone is having the Mac? Anyone is having that Mac OS? Everyone is using the Windows? Okay, good. Everyone is using the Windows, no issues. But if you are having that Mac OS, then you need to, yes, whenever you are trying to install these three softwares, so please make sure that the appropriate, the binary file you are downloading and you are installing that. That is important. Okay, let me go ahead downloading this. Yeah, download for Windows. Then it starts automatically. Or you can go ahead, click here to download the latest one, that is 2.40.1, which is belong to the 64 version. Let's click here to download. Yes, now the third software installing. You see the first one is VirtualBox, second one is Vagrant, third one is Meet. But fourth one which we discussed, that is a Vagrant box. We had it, right? Vagrant box. We are not downloading manually. We're getting the point of it. We are not downloading the manually. We are going to download it through the Vagrant init and Vagrant up. That is helping to download it. You don't need to install it manually. That Vagrant box. That is the image which you are trying to understand. Yeah, let me start this .exe file. Let's go to the downloads folder. Yes, you can find it in your downloads folder, and just double click that file and confirm that yes. Yeah, so just go ahead and install and click on if it is prompted any next options. In my system that is already installed. I'm saying this removing the previous version and it is going ahead to install the latest packets. So if you are doing it the first time, it prompts for that next. So just use the default options and go ahead with that. Okay, what is the software now we are trying to install it is? That is Git Bash. So Git Bash, we can use it as a SSH client and it can be used as a terminal also. So we can use it, this is as a SSH client and it can be used as a Linux terminal. Linux terminal on the Windows system. Now we have installed on the Windows, but can I run that Linux commands on the Windows system? Yes, we can run it Linux commands on the Windows by using this Git Bash. Yeah, it is done this installation. So the view release notes, I don't need it, but let me launch the Git Bash terminal. So just I selected launch Git Bash. Yeah, now it is, you can see that this is the command prompt terminal, which is prompting some messages, you see. So you see that the command prompt here. Yeah, the first time we were accessing the terminals who are having this non-computer background, as we can see, this is a command prompt where you need to enter about your commands which are required for the operations. Fine. Suppose the once it has been installed, you would like to launch it. How you can launch it is, so you can just go to here the search option, just type the Git Bash. And now you see that the Git Bash icon with that app, or you can open this way also. Okay, so we are good. Now what are the commands I need to run it? So already, yes, already we have collected two commands, right, for the Vagrant point of view. First of all, how do we check it like Vagrant installation? We are understanding that how do I verify that the virtual box is installed or not, right? Virtual box in the search options, you can go ahead and search that virtual box and you can open the virtual box. That is a virtual box. And SSH Git Bash now we have opened. Git Bash also you can go to the search options and you can search for the Git Bash. And Vagrant, how do we verify that that is installed or not? We didn't see this Vagrant verification. We just done that installation we have done, but we didn't verify it. How do we verify the says? Yes, once the Git Bash is installed, you can open the Git Bash terminal and you can run it Vagrant hyphen version or directly. Yeah, this command, if it is returned Vagrant with a particular version. Now, what is the version which is showing that? 2.3.4 version. So on my system, Vagrant has been installed and the version is 2.3.4. That is the meaning of this one. Or if you go to the just download section, what is the latest which are downloaded? 2.40 that has been downloaded. That means that is not updated. So okay, fine. That's not an issue. So that's already it is taken under my previous version itself. No issues. The 2.3. Sorry, this is the Vagrant version. We are not talking the Git Bash version, right? Vagrant which we have installed. What is the version of the Vagrant which I installed? Yeah, 2 point. So you just go back to that Vagrant downloads page. Yes, what is the latest version which is installed the Vagrant? 2.3.4. So now in the Git Bash terminal, whatever the version we are viewing that is a Vagrant version. That is not the Git Bash version. But Git version, how do you know that? That we'll talk it later. Leave it off that. That's not required. Okay, my Vagrant is ready. VirtualBox is ready. Now I may handle the Git Bash SH client and as a terminal also, where I'm able to run my commands. Okay, good. What next? So the Vagrant init commands, whatever we are planning to do this, two commands, the before running that, choose one folder, choose one directory in your Windows system. That is a C drive or the D drive. Suppose we'll be having that drives, right? So in your system, if you go to that the my PC section, yeah, this PC will be have C drive or D drive or E drive. Yeah, choose it one of the drive. I'm going to choose it something like my system, and here create one folder. How to create a folder on the Windows? You know it, right? In new and create a folder. Yeah, you can create a folders which are required. And I have already this workspace. Yes, I'm going to use this workspace. And here, let me create a directory for about our batch point of view. That is batch 40. Or you can use it directly in your system, because I'm going to use it the different batches pointer to different batches I'm creating. But in your system, you just take it like a D drive or E drive or C drive and create one workspace directory. And here create one Vagrant folder and you can do it. Yeah. So create a directory. And now how do you go to the Git bash terminal, this directory? Or you can do this right click of that and show more options. And here you can open this folder in the Git bash. Here you can open in the Git bash. Just if you click on the Git bash here, now I'm in that which directory? In my D drive, workspace folder 40. So you can use it like a CD with this path also, like which drive do you want to access? D drive or E drive? Yes, you can give that drive option. And then next directory, what is the directory? Workspace. Or next, what is the directory? Batch 48. Like this also you can access that. But if you are if you are uncomfortable accessing this file system, then use it. Go to the folder, right click, open the Git bash from there. Then directly it opens in that directory. Either one of that which you can use. Both are fine. Okay, now I'm in the current directory. So now I would like to run it. The two commands which are collected from the Vagrant box. Yes, what is the first command? The Vagrant init and with box name. This is the ISO, the image name. So the OS image name, generics and OS. Okay, so let's need Vagrant init and a box name. Just copy the commands that Ubuntu machine or whatever the machine you are going to look into that. So copy that commands and run it. Yeah, now what it is saying, we just observe here, a Vagrant file has been placed in this directory. So this automatically created the Vagrant file. You see that the Vagrant file has been created. So you don't need to do anything for the timing. So just leave it that as it is. So then in the same directory, so go to the Git bash once again, and in the same directory, what is the next command we have? Vagrant up. So whenever I'm running this command, the Vagrant tab. What exactly is going to happen there? Vagrant init, what it is doing? It is created Vagrant file. Vagrant init, there is initializing that virtual machine. So it is created Vagrant file. But to launch the machine, what is the command you need to use it? Vagrant up command. So if I run it Vagrant up, where it is going to launch the virtual machine? Yeah, virtual machine, where it will be launched? That is in VirtualBox, right? Let me open the VirtualBox. We'll just observe that. Yeah, already I'm having the 3 virtual machines previously launched. Now backend, I'm not doing anything here in the VirtualBox. This is just observation point of view. I just opened it. We are not doing anything here. But whenever you run the Vagrant up command, just observe here also what will happen. So parallelly, we are running that the Vagrant up command. Yeah, so let's observe that here Vagrant up. So it is downloading that ISO image which is required for us. Automatically it is downloading. We don't need to download it manually. So first it is easy. It is trying to downloading and it is trying to launch the virtual machine. So we are not doing anything on the virtual box. So we are managing everything with a Vagrant command. Vagrant init and a Vagrant up. Whenever we do the Vagrant up, you see there's like batch 48 related to Vagrant box. One virtual machine has been created. And is it going to starting up? Yes. So we'll see that's like the starting option also. Are you following everyone? So just confirm that. As we see, this starting now status has been changed. Vagrant is helping for us. We are not doing anything manually. So that is the beauty of these automations. So if you are not using the Vagrant, then what you need to do that is you need to download ISO image file and you need to launch this one, the manually everything. But with the 2 commands, Vagrant init, box name, Vagrant up, those 2 commands, I just copied it and I run it in the git bash terminal. This we call this one as a git bash terminal. So we just run it the command and automatically it has been launched in the virtual machine. Yeah. Okay, what next? Now the virtual machine has been launched here. Yes, that has been launched. But what next? How do I access this one? Now I need to run the Linux commands on this CentOS 8 machine. Machine is up and running, virtual machine has been launched. But if I would like to access this one, I need to connect it to this one, right? How do we access that virtual machine? So what is the one more Vagrant command is just run it the Vagrant SSH. So next command is Vagrant SSH. Yeah, Vagrant init command and a Vagrant up command. And then now we just run it one more command, Vagrant SSH. So what is this doing that? So let's go back to the git bash terminal. And if you just run this Vagrant SSH, now we are going to access the CentOS 8 virtual machine. So it takes some time. So to connect it to this, now indirectly we are accessing this virtual machine. We are connecting to this virtual machine. You see that virtual machine somewhere it is running, right? Yes or no? You see that this is the base memory, how much it is having? 2 GB memory it is allocated. And processor, 2 core process units it is having. And storage point of view, yes, norm which is having that 128 GB of the storage. That is, yeah, the SATA type, the port. Yeah, the RAM has been allocated, processor has been allocated, and storage also has been allocated to this virtual machine. Automatically it has been taken. But from where it has been taken? That is from about our local system, the local computer. Yes, on the laptop. What all the resources we have? That's the RAM, processor, and storage. From that, it has been taken and it has been allocated to this virtual machine, and that virtual machine is up and running now. What's yes? Let's observe that Vagrant SH. Yeah, now we are in which machine? On the Windows system or is it on the Linux system? Linux system. Now this command prompt, if you see that whatever it is prompting, now we are in the CentOS 8. So now here use it Control L to clear the screen. Control L to clear the screen. Or you can use it CLS also. CLS clear. CLS is on the Windows and clear on Linux operating system. Yeah, I'm in the CentOS virtual machine. Now I can run it. The commands like these commands. Next we are going to learn it. Yeah, how do you get the host names? How to create a users? How to manage? That is the next concept. Next to Linux, whatever we are going to need, that is within this system. About the file system understanding all that. That's we start it tomorrow. But today, how you are going to access the system? Before going to start about that, the Linux file system and Linux commands, we should know or we should have the Linux system. Get ready with that for the tomorrow. Okay, so now I'm in that Linux terminal. Yes. How do I exit from this terminal? So you can use the exit option. Yes, now I'm in that Windows system or is it my like Linux system? This command prompt is Windows, but before it was I was in CentOS Linux system. So I exited from the system. Exited is nothing but my system is shut down. Linux system is it shut down or still up and running? What's happened there? Only this terminal we have exited, but not the system. System is still that is up and running. You see that the CentOS system still up and running. It is not shut down. But you need to shut down it. How you down it? How do you need to start this machine? How do you start it? Suppose today, once you practice it, you need to shut down it. And tomorrow, whenever you are planning once again to practice it, you need to start the virtual machine. How do you start it and stop the virtual machine? So this is the launching which we discussed. So launching, and once it is up and running, how do we connect it? We have used Vagrant SSH. That is SSH client. So we have used it and we have connected. Is it clear, everyone? Are you following the points, please? Are you clear launching of the virtual machine and connecting to the virtual machine? Yeah, Ajay, Naveen, confirm quickly. All good? Yes, awesome. Tejaswini. Oh, good. That is sure, Pawan. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, all. Okay, so that's about Vagrant init command, Vagrant up command, Vagrant sh command. Three commands we just understand so far. So nothing big deal on that. So what we have done, just quickly recollect it. We have downloaded the virtual box and we have installed virtual box. That is the first software. Second one, we have downloaded the Vagrant and Vagrant we have installed. And third software we have downloaded, that is a Git Bash software. You can just type this in the Google, download Git Bash, which is going to redirect it to the Git Bash. Just download it. And Git Bash, we can use it as a SH client, and as well as we are going to use this as a Linux terminal. These two activities point of view, we are going to use it. And next one is, so as the ISO image, which I have identified in the Vagrant upside, that is generic CentOS 8, that's we have initialized by using Vagrant init command, and we just launched the Vagrant by using that Vagrant app, and we have connected using Vagrant SSL. The same commands are the same. Vagrant commands, whatever we are talking that, whether that is the Ubuntu based system or CentOS system, the commands are the same. So here, if you would like to launch it at the Ubuntu machine, Ubuntu email you need to define it. So only that is the difference. But Vagrant init command, Vagrant sh command, that is for the Ubuntu or the CentOS, doesn't matter. Okay, next, how do we start it and stop the virtual machine? So how do you start and stop the virtual machine is, normally here, manually if you like to do, if you right click this, and here you see that stop the machine, that is the power off. But we are not going to do that manually. So I would like to do that through Vagrant. Yes, how do you stop that is Vagrant halt. So Vagrant halt is the command to stop the instance. So next, one more command from the Vagrant halt. This is to stop the virtual machine. Easy, right? Launching the virtual machine and managing that. If you just consider this, the Vagrant software. So not required beyond these concepts on the virtual machine side. Anyway, we are going to talk it that's in the cloud, the managing the virtual machine, all the things. But for the timing, Linux practice point of whether you are going to use the Ubuntu or Linux, that is about your option. But launching to the virtual machine, so for the time these concepts are enough. Okay, so init app sh, that is connecting to the system, halt, that is stopping the system. Now let's check it, so whether it has been stopped or not. Yeah, this is the graceful shutdown of the virtual machine, and if you check the status this, that has been powered off, that has been shut down. How I can check it from the Vagrant itself is, you can run it Vagrant status command. That virtual machine, is it up and running or not? We can check the status of the virtual machine. So one more command, Vagrant status. Yeah, now this virtual machine, default virtual machine, that is power off. On which virtualization it is running that? What is the virtualization software we are using? VirtualBox. Yeah, that is a power off. But I would like to start it to this one. How do I start it this one? Again, Vagrant up command. Yes, if you'd like to start it, just use it. Vagrant up command. So whenever we don't need it, just to stop the virtual machine. And whenever we need it, start the virtual machine. So now it is starting the virtual machine. And here you can observe that, yes, it is starting with the background. So that is the beauty of Vagrant. You don't need to manually do all these operations. That is automatically we are managing that with a Vagrant through the command line. If you are able to run through the command, those commands, you can use it for the automation purpose. Yeah, it is going to take some time. So just wait. Yeah, today objective is try to set up the CentOS virtual machine in your local Windows. So tomorrow we come into that, you should come up with this virtual machine. Now if I verify the status, so what is the status of my system? But all the commands, whatever we are executing, you need to run it in the same directory wherever you have Vagrant file. Very good, very good. So wherever you have the Vagrant file, so there you need to run it. So now this default virtual machine that is running. Now if I would like to access this, what is the command? Vagrant SSH. That is connecting to the virtual machine. Yeah, now I am in the CentOS 8 system. And what are the commands which are required for the practice from the tomorrow onwards? You can use it at this terminal. This is the Linux terminal. And once that is done, just take from here. And if you like to shut down, okay, but I don't want that this machine. I would like to completely terminate it. Can I do that? That means removing this virtual machine from the virtual box. Can I remove it? Yes, we can remove it. So what is the command
Vagrant.
is Vagrant destroy. Vagrant status. Vagrant destroy is another command. There are all main commands from the Vagrant. Initialize the file, then start the machine and connect it. That is Vagrant SH. Then if you'd like to shut down the system, Vagrant halt. And if you know the status of that is running it or not, Vagrant status. Then if you'd like to completely removing that virtual machine, so Vagrant destroy. Let me run it Vagrant destroy. I don't need this virtual machine. Yes, I would like to cleaning up that all the resources. How I can clean up the virtual machine which has been launched with Vagrant is Vagrant destroy. Yes, now it is asking the confirmation. Are you sure you want to destroy the default virtual machine? Yes. So now that it has been removed completely, and if you observe here, that virtual machine has been completely cleared from the virtual box. And whenever you need it, Vagrant up. Then it is going to launch the virtual machine. Is it clear about all these points? With Vagrant commands? Can you type this? The Vagrant, these the 5, 6 are commands that's required to remember it. And tomorrow onwards, whenever we need the Linux virtual machine, go ahead using this the virtual machine. There is Vagrant init with a box name and a Vagrant. I'm just giving that all these commands in the chat window. Directly, once the softwares have been installed, you can directly run with that. Yeah, init it. Take this one directory on the Windows system, init it, and then up, then connect to the system that is a SSH, and shut down the system, Vagrant halt, and status verification, Vagrant status, and if you like to destroy it, destroy the system. Is it clear about that? That today's objective, that is a 3 softwares installed, VirtualBox, the Vagrant, and SH client or terminal. So with the SH client and Linux terminal, and ISO image, yes, which image is required, identify about your image, then go ahead, stop, fetch, halt, or status or destroy, whatever you need it. Yeah, that's all for today. Objective. Yes, will you complete it today? I mean, today will you complete it and come back tomorrow? This activity. Yeah, you need to. You need to complete it and come back every. Yeah, good. So try to install the 3 softwares. That is VirtualBox, Vagrant, and one more, the Git Bash. And after that, then what is the next activity? So identify about your box, and Vagrant init it, Vagrant up, and Vagrant sh. And if you like to destroy it, Vagrant destroy it. At any time, you can just launch it. Whenever you need it, Vagrant up, and whenever you don't need it, Vagrant destroy it. That is kind of the termination of the virtual machine. Yeah, cool. I will share it some the forum links for this. So if you need that any reference video, yes, I will share it the document with you, so which you can follow on this. Yeah, any queries, questions before going to wind up for today? Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I'm going to log off for today. We'll meet tomorrow, and we'll continue the line is starting that. Yeah, thank you all.